My name is Emma Horwitz, and I am here with a play called Bogdanov. I've always written, and I came to playwriting in my 20s when I found its sort of offerings of temporal complexity and perspective to be especially exciting, and it's something that I've continued to investigate. Um, those problems of theater, the sort of time that takes place on stage, the time that takes place in the audience, and then the time that takes place in yourself. I find that sort of triangle to be really exciting. I came to writing Bogdanov a couple of years ago, I think almost 2 years ago. I started writing this play as an attempt to capture a kind of conversational style that's called cooperative overlapping or high involvement cooperative overlapping. That's sort of like typified of Jews of Eastern European descent. You would maybe know it as like how New Yorkers talk to each other. So like lots of involvement and overlapping and interruption. And I wanted to see if I could capture that conversational style on the page. Bogdanov takes place in a public park over the course of a day. We follow two friends who are walking their dogs off leash, and that's maybe sort of what the play is literally about. And then there are obviously more sort of figurative and formal things that I'm exploring in the piece. I think that Bogdanov is a play about friendship at a particular age in life. The two central characters of this play are in their early 60s, and I think they're in a moment of thinking not only about their own mortality, but about the mortality of the people that have come before them and the people that have come after them. The play, I think, is sort of a love letter to interruption and what interruption allows us to reveal about ourselves and to investigate in somebody else. I think that this play is kind of like heading down a roller coaster really, really quickly, and sort of daring an audience to come on that sense of your heart being sort of halted for an extended amount of time. This play also, I think, has an interest in dogs and in birds and in how humans exist in between those two sort of territories of land and air. The two central characters in this play, Frances and Alice, are inspired by women in my own life and women that I've met while with my mom and my aunt and their friends. I think there are being 30 years younger than my mom's generation allows me a kind of interloping. I get to exist sort of at the sidelines of certain conversations in that generation when they'll have me, when they'll let me lurk around them. And I've got a lot of love and a lot of interest in thinking about how the ways that I speak and the ways that I craft my own kind of dialogue in my day-to-day are deeply inspired and affected by my experiences in my own family and in sort of like the broader culture that I live around as a kid from New York City, trying to find privacy in public spaces. I'm going last in this whole lineup, and so I've had the fortune of being able to observe other people's processes, and mostly I'm excited for this proposal of having two readings with a day in between to work and tinker and think. It's a really rare opportunity to have an institution that's interested in you're trying something and having some kind of genuine experiment. So I'm excited to work with my collaborators and thrilled to see what kinds of experiments we can make in that amount of time. I like to describe this project like seeing if the plane will fly. I think that there is a lot of associative dialogue and a lot of interrupting dialogue and a lot of dialogue in this play that has to do with other kinds of conversations that might have happened 10 years ago. And so I'm excited to get these actors on board and these collaborators on board toward making the thing make coherent sense unto itself, and creating that internal logic that you can only really create with dedicated time in a room with other people. I mean, look around at the gorgeous O'Neill. It's sort of a stupefyingly beautiful place. I'm being sort of squinted out by the sun that's coming in. The ocean is just in my sort of direct vision. And I think there's something kind of like holy and deeply gutturally inspiring about the ocean. I've I've been able to be in the water every day. And then as soon as you sort of pop up out of the ocean, there you are with a number of other incredible writers and artists of all different kinds. And to be here in a place where conversation is happening so frequently and so organically is a gift. You spend so much time of your life as a playwright alone. So to be in community talking is a beacon. And then you can, escape into the water as the fish that you are when need be. I think, in our age of dwindling opportunities for resources in trying and experimenting with new plays, I think the O'Neill's history and the O'Neill's sort of stature, for lack of a better word, is a really exciting place to work inside of. There's a sense of continuum, a sense that you weren't just plucked out of time and plopped here, but that you're working in conversation with so many artists across so many generations and years. And it's a really inspiring place to be working from. I hope audiences leave with questions. I hope they leave with dreams. I hope they have a nightmare about my play, and then I hope that they talk to their friends about that nightmare and try to unfurl what it was that got caught up inside of them.